Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are joining our first 14 squares of our gorgeous temperature blanket for 2022. Yay! Get excited. Well, partially 2021. The first 21 days I think it is, or first 20 days, something like that, of 2021. Now, I'm sorry, the last... Hello, wake up, Mary. The last 20 days of 2021. Now, okay, where you should be. Firstly, if you haven't started this blanket and would like to, you have not missed out on much, okay? All you've missed out on is one tutorial on how to make this particular square. And I will leave part one, which is part you missed out on, in the description box down below. In fact, what I'll do is I'll leave a playlist of the temperature blanket, and you start from the bottom of the playlist and just work your way up to this part here, which is only part two anyway, which is the first part of the join as you go. Okay, I'm breaking up the join as you go in two parts. In this video, you will get two versions of this join as you go. You will get this more technical version, and you'll also get a basic join as you go version where there's a few gaps in between. This one here has no gaps. All right, so it's a solid join as you go, okay? Just be wary that if you are new to crochet, that might test your patience a little bit. Take a risk, I say, with new stitches, by the way, but if you cannot do the new stitches, I leave the easier version in here as well. All right, so we start off with an easy version and then I take it undone and show the more difficult version. All right, in the meantime, guys, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to let you get started. Now, for today's tutorial, you will need your 14 squares, your first 14 squares. We'll talk about that within the tutorial. You will need your crochet hook, the same hook that we used to crochet our squares with, which was the 4mm hook. You will need your scissors. You will need two stitch markers. There's one and two, maybe three. We'll say three. You will need a sewing, darning, weaving needle, one with a little gap there that you need to sew in your ends with. You will need a highlighter because you are going to do this. Now, I've done mine, but I wanted to show you guys where you will be once you've done your 14 squares. Oh, that's not how it's supposed to be. Hello. That's better. Get it right, Mary. Okay, so we start from our first day, and mine was the 10th of December 2021. Not necessary for you to start from that. Now, these are our colours here in Melbourne, Australia. Now, just bear with me, guys. Some of these temperatures may be off by 1 degree or something because I just got on to a website that had past temperatures. But I have been doing them daily since the 14th or 15th of January. So there we go. I know it's been long. I've been really good. But for now, these are the temperatures that I have. And each one of these, in fact, by the time you're finished, if you are from Melbourne, you would have started with your lavender, highlighted, used your blue and highlighted, and then went into your bubble gum and highlighted. Okay, so these are the colors that I've done, and this is the 14th day. All right, so you will need your highlighter for this part if you're highlighting. If you don't want to highlight, that's fine. It's fine. I find that it is easier to highlight. You don't forget where you are. Really important, I think, because otherwise you just by accident, you know, at the end of the year you've got 420 days and don't know where the other 15 days came from or something, you know what I mean? Where the other 12 days or something came from. This way you know exactly where things are going. Now, I did make a tiny error about where to place your stitch marker at the end of the tutorial, but I fixed it within the tutorial, so it wasn't too much of an error. I quickly changed into some other screen and showed you where else to put your stitch marker. Now, at the end of each section, we place our stitch marker here. At the last piece, don't place it here, place it there. Like, it will tell you halfway through and it'll, you know, chop and change and say this is where you should have it, not there. But don't worry too much about that. You won't be making any mistakes with your crochet. Crochet will be normal. So that's our first 14 days. You will have that done once you have completed this tutorial, we hope. I think with this tutorial, I only do the first, I don't know, 3, I think it was. And then I ask you to head off on your own and do the rest. All right. And what we'll do is we'll meet up again in 14 days time, and we will join the next 14. I mean, we could meet up earlier because we're doing December still, but I'll leave the ball into your court. If you want me to meet up earlier, we'll meet up earlier. Okay. But otherwise we'll meet up in 14 days time, and we will join our very next 14, which will be along that side. All right. And then we'll be meeting up monthly so that you guys can work out what's happening every month and you don't get a bit lost. And also, during that month that we meet, that every time we meet on that month, I will give you some tips on how to keep everything sorted out, how to keep it all organised, and just some tips that you may need throughout the year. All right, so I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let you get started creating your gorgeous join as you go for our temperature blanket of 2022. Good luck, everyone. Alrighty guys, for now what I have actually done here is popped my first 14 squares in a row there. Now don't stress, because we're going to go through each one of our squares as we go, so don't stress too much about where you're going to put them all. What we will do though is we'll start off with the first 2 squares, and for this part here you will need your highlighter, because once you start crocheting around your first square, which mine is the lavender, you start crocheting around it, and when you join your blue you highlight the fact that you've completed that. And that way, let's say the phone rings, you walk away, you just pick up the next square assuming it's the right one, and you've picked up another one. It can happen. All right, so just highlight everything, or you can accidentally pick up the same square, which can happen as well. So make sure you highlight it once you've done the first one. Okay, and again, the first one will not be complete. It will be starting from one corner, it'll work its way around all the way to there, then it'll join to the next piece. All right, so you won't actually be finished it, but it'll be joined. Once it's joined, you can highlight it. We'll work on that together as we go along, but in the meantime, what I did do was put the first 14 days all in a row, starting with the lavender on top, the baby blue, the bubblegum, curry, and so on and so on and so on. But don't stress. I will say the first square, which for me is the lavender, and the second square, which for me is the baby blue. But we're going to focus on that first square first so that we don't get anyone confused. So grab your very first square from your list, and we're going to start putting them together right now. All right. This is the colour we are going to use to join it with. It is called Bendigo Luxury Koala, and it uses the same millimetre hook that we've been using all along, okay, to make our squares. So let's get started. All right, now it's entirely up to you where you would like to start. Wait a minute, before we do start, let me show you before, get it right, woman, before doing anything, we're going to weave in that center end right there. All right, so grab your little needle, sewing needle, darning needle, whatever you want to call it. Thread your needle. Of course it's split, but there you go, all good. Now this is a magic ring, magic circle, or magic loop, so don't be fooled. Give that a couple of washes and that may come undone in the wash, so give it a good tug, closing up your center. Now if you've done a chain 3 and a slip stitch to join, just sew into it as well. All right, you still need to have it nice and tight. So all you're doing is going into that first set of 3. It's actually the chains and your 2 double crochets, and you're going in through the stitches, splitting some of the stitches, just checking the front, making sure you can't see the needle. All right, and just pull that through like so. Give it a tug. Yes. Go through the next 3. Notice how I'm splitting some of the yarn as well, which is good. And the fact that this is the back means you won't be able to tell, especially once the blanket's put together. Check the front, nothing, good, and just pull that through there like so. Turn your work into your next set like so. Oh, I'm not even in frame. Let's bring that out a little bit. Like so. One more time. Actually, no, we're at the end of that, aren't we? So what we're going to do is turn around. So this is where we are, and we're going to go through that next set. We're not going to do that. We're going to turn around and go back the same way we came, but we're going to pick different stitches. So we're going to skip that first stitch, pick another set of stitches, whether it's 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. Check the front, nothing, good, and keep weaving that end in. 1 and 2. You can actually do it a third time if you like. It can get a little thick because we've already crocheted over it as well, but I'm going to do it that one last time. Check the front, no needle, great, and that's the end of that. Now you just grab your scissors and you give it a cut, and that's that. You can actually weave that tail in if you like. Yours truly, you would have noticed I did not weave mine in, and these are actually washed and blocked. Now let me show you the difference between a blocked square and a non-blocked square. Lays nice and flat, that one doesn't, okay? I just wanted people to see the difference between washing and blocking. Is that necessary? Maybe not, but for me I find joining your squares so much easier if it's flat and easy to work with. It'll be quicker to work with because it's easier to work with because it has been washed and blocked. Now look at that. You know, it really, let's put it the same way the other one is so you can see the difference. There really is a difference, all right? I just wanted to show you that. Again, it's not necessary, it's something I do. Now, if you wanted to weave that end in, you would turn it, that's the right way of our work. And what is the right way, I hear you ask? For this blanket, you are looking at your stitches in front. And see these, let's use the green because the green's a lot easier to look at. Okay, let's try the green. It's easier to look at online, okay? You've got these little stitches in front. See the little V's up the top? They look like V's. They're facing you when you're looking at it. When you turn it the other way, those V's are pointing backwards. All right, so that's the wrong side, and you can tell the difference. The right side is nice and neat, and the wrong side is bubbled. Now, if you like the bubbled edge, by all means, use that side. But we are going to use that side right there. All right, just thought I'd show you that. Now we're going to start by grabbing our thread. All right, you could weave that end in, which means you could go through the back and under some stitches there, or you could do it this way. Actually, I'll show you this way so you can see it. It's not really, I would leave it to the edges and use it to be crocheted in once the blanket is complete, just for this square. But all the other squares are going to have tails, so we're going to pretend like I've done that for this square, even though I haven't. What I want you to do is find a corner, any corner space you like, grabbing your, let's bring this out a little bit, just grabbing your yarn, okay? Pop it over your hook, again, any way you like, pull that loop through, just grab your little tail end here, popping it forward because we're going to lock that into place and crochet over it as well. So chaining 1, 2 and 3, you're going to pop a stitch marker in there, a nice big one, small one, whatever suits you. This stitch will not be touched until the end of the year, so I would suggest keeping a stitch marker in there. Okay, literally the end of the year. Okay, so there we go. Yarn over your hook, you're going to put 2 double crochets in your corner, okay? And you know the double crochets because you've done them before, but in you go with 1. And yet another one. And I'm crocheting over my tail. Yeah, I'm holding it down and crocheting over it. Yes, chain 2, 1 and 2 because it's a corner. And you're putting 3 double crochets in the same space. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and there you go. And that's the start of your join as you go. Now you're going to jump straight into here. All right, in this particular piece, we now have the corner there, the corner here, and a space in the middle. In that space, I've popped my tail at the back, by the way. In that space, you are putting 3 double crochets, and off you go. 1, 2, and 3. All right, jumping straight into your corner with your corner, which is what we call a double cluster set. 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 2, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now, we have our corner there and that space right there. This is where the tail comes in handy. Again, you don't have to do this, but take a risk and try something new, okay? You're just grabbing that tail at the back of your hand, just holding it in whatever hand you're using. Yarn over your hook, you're going to pop your hook in the space and do your normal 3 double crochets. You can drop it once you're in there and you're actually crocheting over your tail. 2 and 3. But guess what? You're going to weave that in as well. Now, if you've already weaved it in, more power to you, yeah? Jump straight into the corner with your 3 double crochets only. And 3. Hold it there for a minute. All right, so what you have now is that, okay? Now let's grab our little book, open it up, grab your highlighter, and that is your first square done. Now you can highlight the number, you can highlight the lavender if you like, highlight them both, whatever. As long as you know, well, I'm done. I'll never have to do that square again because it's done. All right, pop this out the way. Oh wait, before you do, grab your next color. For me, it is the baby blue. Let's get started. Now, before we do, just wanted to let you know, to my regulars who are a little bit more of an avid crocheter, bear with me a moment because I'm going to do the easier join as you go first, and then I'm going to take it undone and do the normal join as you go in about 5 minutes time. So this one here is for newbies. Now, if you are a regular avid crocheter and you don't feel like thinking much, you can do this one too. Okay, you like that? You don't feel like thinking much. Chain 1. Okay, then you're going to start by doing a double crochet into one of the corners of your square, the next square. Doesn't matter which one, pick a corner and do 1 double crochet. Now this is just for the newbies, okay? You can do a second one and a third one, all in the same corner. All right, so for those of you who are new, just do your double crochets in that corner. Face your pieces to each other. And in fact, it's better to actually hold them up with this particular join as you go, all right? So face your piece to you, and right in that space there, you're going to pop your hook, leave your thread up, right? And you're going to pop your hook in there, pull the loop through, like so, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. You've just slip stitched into that first space on the opposite square. Now you're just going to do a normal double crochet, but we now have these spaces in the middle before the corner. So you actually need to put 3 double crochets in that space. Off you go with your 3 double crochets. 1, don't do these too loose or it's going to be gappy in there. So just nice and relatively tight. Now you can drop in to do normal stitches. Once you do your first one, just do your normal tension, okay? And we're there. Now, to even that out, you've got to jump into the next space. Right there, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Just give it a gentle tug, yarn over your hook. You're going to jump straight into the corner. Now don't leave this stitch too loose. Don't pull it too tight either. And just do your normal 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Whoops. All right, so from here, this is where we are. Chain 1, because we're starting our corner. Then you're going to jump, well, not that way, face it to you again, pop your hook in the corner, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Chain 1, and turn your work to the side, nice and tight there. You're doing your finishing off your corner. with 3 double crochets. So all you really did is a turn, really, a U-turn, if that helps you. A little bit of a U-turn. And let me stop here for a minute to show you. That's what you've done. You've crocheted along there, you've joined it up the top, you've done your chain 1 and everything, and you did your little turn across there. Now this is the more easier way of doing things, all right? So I just want to pop a stitch marker right here for the newbies, right there. And what I would like for you guys to do is continue along the way and get to your corner and do 3 double crochets. For the rest of us, I'm going to take this undone and we're going to start our join as you go. Now newbies, remembering you're putting 3 double crochets in there, 3, 2, 3, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets in there, and only 3 double crochets in that last stitch marker. All of the newbies, get there and I'll meet you back here once you're done. For the rest of us, let's do our join as you go. Okay, now this join as you go, by the way, newbies, if you want to try this one, by all means you can try this one. All right, there's no right or wrong way of doing your squares, and this is a little trickier, but it just makes a better join. So we're going to chain 1, turn our square. We're going to do exactly the same as what we did with the newbies, but a little different. First thing you're going to do is do a double crochet in that corner, just 1. Do your double crochet like so. Okay, I'm going to pick this up a little bit so you can see. You guys are actually going to be taking your hook out in a minute and then popping your hook in the first stitch on this side and then pulling the loop through. So it goes, lift up that loop a little bit, pop your hook. This is your last 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. In that 3rd stitch, which is actually the first stitch on this side, right? Pop it in, grab the loop from the opposite side, just give it a tug, and then just pull it through like so. Yarn over your hook, jump into that corner. Don't leave these stitches too loose. Jump into that corner with a double crochet. Pull up your loop. There's your 2nd stitch right there. Pop your hook in, grab the loop, pull it through. Yarn over. Next crochet in that corner. Pull up a loop into the last stitch and pull that loop through. It can be a little tricky, right? I'm going to just lift it up. You don't have to do that. You can keep yours nice and straight. But look at the join. It's actually joined as though you sewed your pieces together. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a row of your koala on your squares and sew your pieces together like a normal blanket. That's another way. I will be showing you that version in some squares over the next few weeks, so just bear with me on that one. Or might even be next week. How's that? We'll do it at the end of the week next week. So yarn over your hook. You are going to pop a double crochet in that center space right there, just 1. Pull up your loop, 1 into your next stitch there and pull that loop through. Double crochet into the space. Pull up your loop, go into your next stitch and pull it through. And that's that. All right. Pull up your loop and your next stitch and pull it through. All right, and that's 3 in there already. So now you're doing your very next double crochet in your corner, your very next corner. So do 1 double crochet in that corner, pull up the loop, hook into your first double crochet there, pull that loop through, 2nd one in the corner, pull up your loop. Sorry about the stitch marker there, guys. Hook into that stitch, the 2nd one, pull the loop through, another one in the corner. This is your 3rd one and your final one for that part of the corner. Now you're pulling up your loop. You've got to get into that very last stitch. Okay, it's easy to forget. I've done that in the past. So pull your loop through, chain 1, lift it up, go into the corner, on the opposite side, pull the loop through, chain 1, straight into your corner again, and now you're putting your 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. All right, so that is the way you have joined your squares. All right, so you don't have that space in there like the other version that I showed you. Entirely up to you which version you would like to use, but let's get on with it. There's a little tail. We need to pop 3 double crochets in that space before the corner. So popping 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, and then 3, 2, 3 in your corner. Now you know this part, guys. We're going to pick up speed and we're going to get to that stitch marker right there where the newbies will be. All right, so just continue your normal square as though you were doing a square, remembering you are actually popping 3 double crochets in the space before the corner. So 3 double crochets in that space. Like so. All right, that is where we should all be. I'm lying. Newbies will already have done their 3 double crochets in that corner. If you haven't, let's do our 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. So everyone should be right here, right now. Let's take out that stitch marker first. Chain 1. And there you go. That is, it's a little bit out of shape. That's normal. It will sort itself out once we start doing the rest of our squares. All right, so now grab your calendar, flip, grab your highlighter. Remember to do this, guys, because if you don't do this and you forget, you're going to accidentally put the same color on again. All right, so your very next color is, well, for me, is bubblegum, and bubblegum is the gorgeous pink, which is actually the same color. It's supposed to be the same color as my nail polish, so there you go. I don't know, that's just a little bit of trivia there. You didn't really need to know that. Not really. All right, so here we are. Okay, everyone should be here right now. Now I'm just going to show the newbies what they need to do, and then you can actually continue. After you do this next square, you can continue doing yours until you reach to that certain amount, which I'll talk about in a minute. So just bear with us, everyone else. So newbies, you've got your chain 1. Have you done your chain 1 in that corner, your first chain 1? Yes. Yarn over your hook. You're going to put 3 double crochets in the corner, any corner that you like. 2 and 3. Whoops. 3. Now remember what you're doing. Let me bring that out a bit. You are just facing your pieces to each other, all right? And then you're popping in your first space, pull the loop through, nice tight tug, and pull it through to the loop. You are in and you're done. Then you're going to pop into the very next space with a double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Facing your pieces, you're jumping into the very next, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop. You are in, and 3 double crochets in your corner. 1, 2, and 3. Whoops, in your corner. Chain 1. Slip stitch into the corner, pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop you are in, chain 1, turn your work and finish off your corner like so, 2 and 3. All right, so that's that. Now newbies, all I want you to do right now is continue along your side, popping your stitch marker in that corner, always in the corner of the row that we're not doing anything with. The only time you'll be doing this section here will be on your very last day of our blanket. Okay, so it'll be right at the end of the year before you are doing this row. All you're doing is focusing on going side, 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 side. Don't touch this row, don't go anywhere else until we get to the 14th square, and I'll talk about that once we're done. All right, so your job, newbies, is to continue to do that around this square, and then I will meet you up in a moment. But for the rest of us, let's take this undone. Sorry, this is taking a little longer, guys. I wanted to give you two versions of the join as you go to help those who are new to crochet, which they'll find the other version tricky too, but it'll be less tricky than what we're doing. Really, it will. All right, so for the rest of us, you may even know what you're doing, but let's try this last one. You're doing a double crochet in that first corner. Whoops, no splitting yarn. Pull up the loop. 1, 2, 3. So you're going into that very first one you see. Pull that loop through, doing another double crochet in that corner. Pull up your loop, one into your next. I'm pretty sure you're getting the picture of this. But we'll just continue with this square, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do. All right, and pop it into your next stitch. And now you're jumping straight into your very next space with one double crochet. Pull up your loop, pop your hook in and through. 2, pull up your loop, pop your hook in and through. 3, loop, hook in, pull through. Now we're at the corner. You're going to do your corner like normal, 3 double crochets and one in there, pull it through. The second, and your third. Now remember that you still have a stitch here that you must pull through. Now I stress that because I kept forgetting once. Pull up a loop, you chained one, yeah, pull up a loop. I should have told you what we're doing here. Oh dear, dear, dear. All right, once you've done that last double crochet, you are chaining one, pull up that loop. I give it a bit of a stretch, it helps me find the space properly. And then you're pulling the loop through, chain one again, and double crochet in your next, in your same corner. Not your next corner, the same corner. Be a pretty big space if it was, wouldn't it? All right, and from here, you're just going to do what the newbies are doing, and that is just crocheting over your tail. 2, 3, and in the corner with 1, 2, and 3. Chain all 1 and 2, and into your corner with 1, 2, 3, space with your 3 double crochets in, and right into the corner with your 1. Oops, oh silly duffer me, I only did 2 double crochets in that corner and that space. I'm a duffer. 3 double crochets into your corner. Oh, I'm rushing to get you off on your own. That's what I'm doing. I'm not rushing to, get onto the next projects. Chain 1. I'm going to leave it there, guys. All right. What I want you to do now, once again, don't forget to do this, because this will confuse you if you don't. Right. We've done the lavender. We've done the baby blue. And now we've done our bubblegum. Well, I have. Whatever colours you are using, make sure you highlight your calendar. All right, that is our first 3 squares. Your job, and this is the best part, guys, is to head off on your own. I'm going to leave you on your own. Just keep rewatching this last step. is to get all your squares ready. Now I've got them all ready here. Let's bring it out a bit more. Now let's just assume that this blue, which it is, my very last square. I'm gonna, I don't know, let's do it that way because that's what we've been doing all along. And let's use a white so it's nice and bright, so that next time when you see me, we'll all be at the same place. All right, so your job is to now spend the next week, 2 weeks, crocheting all your squares on your piece exactly this way. Let's get that out the way. Once you get to your last square, pop your 3 double crochets in there. Alrighty guys, I just paused that for a moment to do a quick correction. Now I asked you to pop your stitch marker in the final corner. By the way, this is, let me show you just quickly. This is the full piece done. This is my 14 days. Now I asked you to pop a stitch marker in that final corner, but the corner that I wanted you to pop it in is not so much there. Now this is where our tail ends have been going all along, right? And so what I've been doing is popping a stitch marker in that corner like that, and we've been crocheting that way and going around and sitting and waiting at that corner there. I don't want you to do that. Take the stitch marker out of there and pop it in the top corner where your thread is. All right, so when you get to the end of your 14th day, don't come to this corner. Stay at that corner there. All right, and I'll just show you a little tip here. Stay at that corner there, just do your 3 double crochets, grab a stitch marker, pop it in your loop like so. And this way, if you toss it in a tub and you forget it 6 weeks later and you pick it up, you don't lose that thread. It doesn't go anywhere because it's all caught up in that stitch marker. All right, so your job, guys, is to go all the way through doing all your squares, get to your 14th square. Don't stop it here. Stop it right there on the corner before we usually stop. Oh, if I can get it in. Hello, because it's got the stitches in there. So stop at the corner before we get to this corner, because the next set of squares are going to be worked that way. All right, so I got halfway through talking before and realized I was doing it wrong, so I thought I'll just get over here and show you this one here. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. Your job now is to go ahead and do your squares, all 14 of them. Meet me back here in a couple of weeks' time. We're looking at 14 days from today, and we will do the next 14 squares. Once we do the next 14 squares, we will meet monthly, and I'll give you some other tips along the way. You'll also have a tip in the very next tutorial on how you keep track of your weeks as well. So look forward to that one. All right, in the meantime, guys, head off on your own, continue in that manner, and I will see you back here when you are done with your 14 squares. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Do all the wonderful things that you guys, well, pretty much already do for me. And don't forget to visit our website at www.wowcrochetdesigns.com, and you can see some other patterns that are starting to go up as of next Monday. Not today, next Monday. Okay, so Monday you'll start seeing basic patterns go up. You might see some freebies and some that you could purchase as well. All right, in the meantime, good luck joining all your squares, and I will see you all next time. My name is Mary and this is Wow Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.